attacking assault rifles, handguns, Mossberg 500 shotguns. They're going to cause something? No, because they know they're going to get taken down.
And let's be clear. I saw the chopper footage. It looked like about 500 people conservatively. You're saying about 60 of those were armed.
Yeah, on the side that I was on, because the police had split up both sides. They had the Muslim, pro-Muslim side on the side of where the mosque was, and then we were essentially pushed onto another side and separated. Now, both sides had peaceful people, and both sides had extreme people. There was a group of young Muslim men who were calling to gang rape some of the girls that were on the side that I was standing on. Now, that's not very peaceful.
Yeah, what is it about radicalism that it's into raping women? I see that all the time. Why do feminists promote that? I know feminists love radicalism. Why are they so into it?
I just don't understand it. I mean, the entire thing about feminism is to empower women. Rape completely degrades. I mean, that's wrong. So I don't get how that somehow crosses over into that whatsoever. But, I mean, I heard some vulgar stuff on both sides. And I can understand both sides. You know, the side on the Muslim side, they had a sign that said F ISIS, but not Islam, which makes complete sense. You can't demonize an entire religion because of a few bad apples. Just like with Christianity, there's been some extreme people on that side as well. So, a lot of people out there think that, because we're out there covering it, and I was supporting the Second Amendment by having my HD firearm on me, that I was basically trying to incite violence. Negative. The reason that we carried guns is because there was a legitimate threat that ISIS could come, and they had vowed to attack that area. I'm not going to be a victim, and I'm not going to let American lives be lost by a bunch of cowards who are just going to roll up and just start shooting people.
Well, Joe, you're defending the Republic now in America with that gun on your back, even more than when you were in Iraq and Afghanistan. So we salute your continued service as a servant to the Republic. So great job.
Thank you. I mean, it was a great show to show people across the world that when you have an armed society, there's going to be less things. It's like I went to the gun show last weekend. I flew back from Cleveland. I was in Austin for a day or so, right before the flooding happened, and then flew back to Cleveland. I went to a gun show. No one was killed. No one was shot. There was guns everywhere. People were carrying rifles. Everything was fine and peaceful. People were out there just wanting to buy weapons. Nothing happened. And just like the fact that we showed up to Phoenix with our guns, nothing happened. People were able to demonstrate. People were able to protest peacefully. Yes,
that's right. The Second Amendment was there clearly defending the First. We'll be right back with Joe Biggs. I want to finish up with the Draw Prophet Muhammad demonstration that was really huge. And then we're going to get briefly into the mass suicides we see happening inside the U.S. military. Take calls 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central. A lot of really informative big guests coming up this week as well, so be sure and join us for the weekday transmission. Again, I want to thank all of the affiliates out there that pick up the broadcast. It shows that America is still alive and kicking, that a show like this can be on over 170 AM and FM stations, that cable and TV stations, without even really asking, are already picking up our video feeds and carrying it around the country. It is a blessing. It is humbling, so I thank you all for your support. I don't want folks to think I'm arrogant. I'm bold in my fight against the globalists, because that's what it takes to get people out of their trance and to lead folks. And it's bold to see 60-something people armed out of 500-plus folks demonstrating for the First Amendment when two men from a mosque went to a free speech event in Garland, Texas, and tried to kill people in cold blood, including police who were just there to provide security under orders. It's good to stand up against that. Now, are some of the folks filled with hate for radical Islam? Certainly. Or Islam in general? Yes. Am I somebody that wants to wage war against Muslim countries and destabilize their countries and put ISIS in control? No, that's our government doing that. I don't want the clash of civilizations. I don't want the war with Islam. But that's where all this is going. Joe Biggs finishing up on your 4 hours of live coverage Friday night that was excellent, as hundreds of thousands tuned in just to watch the streams alone. Other points you want to add, then I want to shift gears into the sad errand you're on today.
Yeah, so like we said earlier, the Second Amendment really helped protect the First Amendment in this event. And it showed that other countries need to kind of take on that American experience, that spirit, the fact that to be able to arm yourself, that deters other people who want to do harm. You know, that shows what we did in Phoenix, coming out there armed, and everyone still was able to peacefully protest, yet there was no ISIS attack. They always look for cowards. ISIS looks for weak spots. That was not a weak target. That was not a soft target. We made it very hard for something like that to happen. And I have to commend the police in that area, too, as well, because the last threat from ISIS was that your guns are not going to be able to stop us. They said no rounds, even though you guys are able to open carry in a lot of states, that will not stop our fighters. And what that means is that the idea of they were going to use most likely a VBIED, a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. Now, would the cops not had any vets and known what that meant like I did? Because when I showed up, I was like, man, I hope there's no big road where a vehicle could drive up, park, and set off a huge car bomb. Because I would have taken out both Muslims, Christians, Catholics, whoever was out there. It would have wiped out a whole lot of people. And the police probably had a veteran on their side who had the experience that I did. So when I showed up, there was no way within a mile to get close and bring a vehicle to that event. So that stopped that threat. And the fact that then we had armed citizens out there protecting people's rights to be able to speak, that stopped that ISIS threat.
And ISIS had said it was national news they were going to attack the event, and we know ISIS has been allowed into the country. They've been allowed to recruit inside the United States. That's how they're different than their father, Al-Qaeda, is that was pretty much a synthetic threat unless you were in country. This is a real multi-100,000-person organization that is being allowed to recruit by the West. Joe Biggs, how big was it? If you're a new listener, you can just search engine Defense Intelligence documents, Judicial Watch. West created Al-Qaeda and ISIS, used them against Syria. How big is it that somebody leaked that from the military to Judicial Watch, and now it's admitted what we already knew, that the West is actually funding radical Islam to take over the Middle East?
Well, yeah, they wanted to destabilize the Assad regime. You know, it was about 2 years ago when Obama was trying to ask for permission to be able to go into Syria, and it was denied. And what happened? They had to create this Frankenstein. They had to make a bad guy to be able to go in and do that. So that's how ISIS was born. ISIS was born from the fact that our government is so greedy, they wanted to take out someone else. They wanted to put in one of their Western puppets to take over that area so they can get one step closer to their end game, which I believe is Iran. They want to move closer and closer and take out those areas around there so they can eventually get their bases, their planes in there, and take out that area. So these guys have created the problem. And like I've said time and time again, I've got a lot of friends in the Air Force who do airdrops, and they are on target. Now, the only way that you can actually drop these supplies, I highly doubt that these Air Force pilots who are making these drops knowingly dropped them in the hands of ISIS. They were
sure, they're told, it's come out in the Iraqi government, they're told to drop at one spot, they're told it's the Kurds or whatever, and really it's Al-Qaeda. Exactly.
So they're given wrong coordinations, they're given wrong coordinates to drop those. You know, like, hey, these are going to go to the rebels, these are going to go to the guys who are going to fight ISIS. And then we see all these videos on YouTube Live Leak, on the news, where you see ISIS fighters holding American weapons, American grenades, American ammunition. You know, that's what's out of control.
Well, Joe, this is jumping the sharks, though, because it was the military 2 years ago that said no to an air war to take out Assad for Al-Qaeda that became ISIS. So I think they've really gone too far in that the elites think they can fund Al-Qaeda and ISIS to murder every Christian they find, turn the world over to them, and that our own military isn't going to wake up. They're gravely mistaken. Joe, finishing up, tell us about why you couldn't be here in studio with us today, because it shines a light and personalizes what's happening to our military.
Well, I've lost my second friend in the Army to suicide now in the past 2.5 months. A buddy of mine yesterday shot himself, and he was struggling with depression. And as we've talked about, I've done a few reports in Austin. We don't have the greatest health care with the VA. We don't have the greatest care. And they've put in this Watson, this IBM program named after the Holler's machine that killed tons of people. Millions of Jews, you know, homosexuals, gypsies, all these people.
Well, let's be clear. We're not joking. They have IBM machines that decide not to treat U.S. veterans, even if you're healthy. They just decide you don't get treatment. And so you can't get treatment for what's wrong with you, coughing up blood, all the other stuff. You're saying that was connected to your friend?
It has to be, because this is someone, like, when him and I would meet, we would have in-depth conversations, and it would kind of help him, it would help me. It would be therapy for the both of us. And I've been working on some, some projects as well with people dealing with PTSD, trying to reach out to veterans and let them know that there's other people out there that are going through the exact same thing as them. And I've done some videos, and I've talked with people, and this was one of the guys that was part of that. And I would speak to him on a daily basis, and, many times we both kind of break down and cry because we both dealt with a lot of the same depression, a lot of the same being sent to these pointless wars to fight for something that was all a lie. And that's where that depression sets in. To know that you went out and you fought for your country, and then your country lied to you. The fact that you went out there and you fought and you watched your brother and sister die beside you and were murdered because of a lie. So
well, sure. Plus, these Watson computers are already saying don't give these veterans treatment. Robots then are already killing humans right now, not just autonomous drones. Robots are already killing humans, and it's the Thomas Watson computer, named after the guy that gave Hitler the computers to sit there and decide who lived and died. I mean, you can't make this up, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what people don't understand. There is a real war on against veterans in this country, and a lot of people think it's BS. They think, oh, you guys are just being really extreme about it. I mean, it's not extreme. I've already had 5 of my appointments with the VA to have my foot that's been mangled looked at, and I keep getting a letter in the mail every 2 weeks saying that appointment's been... Let's
be clear, Joe. You were blown up in 2 different IEDs. You've got pins and stuff all over your leg, and it was done, in the battlefield. It has to be redone. They will not give you the treatment you need. We're going to cover this more when you get back tomorrow, the next day, or take a day off with your friends. I know you had to drive two hours away because you've been working about 14 days straight. But Joe Begg's great job. We'll talk to you on Tuesday, and just get some R&R. Thank you for going out to spend time with the family, and God bless you.
Thank you, Alex.
Really is sick, folks. The government and the media says they love troops all day, and they use veterans, our archetypal warriors. Whether the wars are good or bad, doesn't matter. These are our warriors. At an archetypal, instinctive level, we support them. They use them to sell the whole agenda, but then these cowardly globalists hate our veterans because they're real men, so then they're busy screwing them every chance they get. It's sick. And just like Monsanto and McDonald's are falling right now, all of your institutions will fall when we're done with you. And it doesn't matter what you do to me. Ideas are bulletproof. Humanity will transcend you. We're designed to do it. In fact, your attack will only make us stronger. To quote Nietzsche. What is the vote? 76 to 15 or something right now. They're about to finish voting in the Senate to limit debate and try to stop Senator Rand Paul from blocking it tonight when they try to sneak the vote to reauthorize the Patriot Act through. And we've got a full court press by mainstream traitor media, corporate globalist propaganda, Tokyo Rose wannabes, yelling, it just protects the Constitution, it just gives you freedom, it keeps terrorists from blowing you up, just let us spy on you and put microchips and everything to track everything you're doing. The government loves you. Do you want free health care? Just do what we say, even though it triples your prices. Just never mind that. Just give us your guns. Just give us the gas. We spare your lives. To quote the Road Warrior, the 80s one that was good, not the new one. The great humongous has graciously said that if you open the gates and let us in, we will spare your lives. Just give us the gas. We spare your lives. That sounds reasonable. I think we can talk to humongous. He will work with us. That's what the public's doing here. Did you get your free health care? Did you get your goodies? No, you didn't. The globalists want to conquer the planet to then control all the fruits of human development for themselves, not for humanity. They are horrible. There is an epic battle going on for the future of the species now. You're living in a real, hardcore, 3- and 4th dimensional science fiction movie. It's incredible. It's bigger than ESPN. It's bigger than acting cool in front of your friends. It's bigger than Botox injections. It's big. It's as big as the universe. And I'm tuned into that, so they call me eccentric. Then I am. Let's go to Obama's lies, though, from his little This Week address. And I'm not even going to sit there till the end. I will write the lies down. There's so many I won't be able to, but I had a pen in here. Can I have another pen? All I have is highlighters. Thanks. Nice.